Well, great to see everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy. I didn't know if I'd be here alone today or what would happen. I'll just wait for people to log on. If you can be on video, that would be awesome so I can see your faces. But if you're busy and you know, driving or whatever it may be, um, do what you need to do. I'm going to put in the chat just the sign up link for the group so you have it here if you want to look at it. But I just wanted to welcome everyone. I thought this would be just an amazing opportunity to share about group and answer any questions that you may have. We're not running a group right now. I'm not doing any coaching. I'm just answering questions about the group. I just want to be clear on that. But I love to see all of you and connect with you whenever possible. And I see that there are even some current group members here. So if they feel like sharing about their experience, that's even better. I love this. So I keep seeing people in the waiting room, and feel free to just come and go as you need. Once you've had your question answered, if you want to leave, that's fine. If you want to stay, Wiley, I'm glad you made it. I saw a login from a few hours ago and I couldn't find your email. So I'm guessing the time zones might have gotten confused a little bit, but I'm glad you're here now. So I would just love to see if you have a question that you'd like to ask, please let's just dive in and get started. Under the reactions button, you can just raise your hand and I'll just take any questions in the order that you raise your hands. I assume you're here because you have questions, but I can also speak to anything that you'd like me to. You can either raise your hand and unmute, or you can put it in the chat. And I see, is it there's Cynthia? Hi, please share. Yes, hi, great to see you.
Dr. Joy, I don't think we've ever spoken in real time.
I don't think so.
But I have sort of a weird question, but I think about this often because I'm in a very peaceful flow right now. But when I first encountered you and your work as a new bright lifer, I was in the ditch for the most part. I never really got more than 30 or 40 days. Once in 3 years, I got up to about 120 days. And I'm in one of those grace periods that has been very rare in my life. It started in April of 2020. So I'm now slightly over 900 days of bright lines, and I'm so grateful for that. And I have my little connection routines.
Right.
I do a commitment in the big group. It used to be Lynn's, morning and evening commitments. I have a little protocol in place, but I've been completely stable. When I got my lines bright in 2020, I really heard your recommendation to add food and let the stability bring forward whatever was to happen. And I know I was not weighing because I was too ashamed and horrified.
Right.
But I know I was in the 180s, and now I've weighed. Once I got into what I thought was my my body weight range, I pretty much stayed here. So my question though is, even though I've done courses, I've done Bright Line Grit, Bright Line Freedom, and I'm in Everett's group, there's a part of me that feels like I'm not doing enough. And that if I ever find, I mean, I know what was driving the eating disordered behavior in, the 2017 period, because I was very, very worried about losing my job, which happened. It was a 20-year job, and I had to leave because of COVID-related things with my employer.
Okay.
And so my worst fear came to pass. And surprise, I am reinventing myself as a coach. I'm not doing badly. I have clients. I'm very grateful. But there is this part of me that's terrified that I'm not doing enough. And that if I have another crisis to deal with, I'll fall back into the old neural pathway.
Right. Well, I think that where the group could be helpful in your situation, so it's for people in all stages of recovery. It's not just for people who are in the ditch, although those are the people who seem to need it the most up front. It's about creating a really stable and sustainable foundation for recovery moving forward. And we spend a lot of time learning meditations, doing EFT, talking about your energy, talking about writing new stories, and really developing whole new behavior patterns, regardless of whether you're doing well with your food or not well. Most people, even if they are bright and stable with their food, don't necessarily have the emotional sobriety, the emotional recovery that needs to come with recovery from food addiction and an eating disorder, right? Like in Bright Line Eating, we do the food part really well. And then, there are some amazing courses to do the inner work, but it's hard sometimes to bring all of those together on your own in self-study. It's when we are in the conversation of these concepts and practicing them together weekly and applying them to real life situations that they really come to life, and they start to really get integrated into your lifestyle, into your nervous system. In some ways, I should call this group Mastering Your Nervous System, because I'm in this strong belief, and I will probably make a course of that one day, because that's what this is really about over the 4 years that I've been working with Bright Line Eaters. Again and again, it comes down to, why are people falling off their lines? Why are they binge eating? The binging has some separate causes as well, but that relief seeking through food is the most common reason why people fall off track. And we are not trained, most of us in our lives, about how to actually regulate our own nervous system. So that's kind of the biggest gift. It doesn't sound sexy, I know, when you first hear it. It doesn't sound that exciting. And it almost is like, hoo-ha, like, yeah, whatever, like, let's go take a nap. But I swear it is the most powerful thing that I've witnessed again and again, and literally changing people's lives, changing those patterns, hopefully permanently, and being able to move forward into actual full recovery versus, there's a difference between being abstinent and being in recovery. And so this group is really geared to take you into that full recovery.
That makes so much sense. And um, the challenge for me, I just had my 70th birthday, and
Happy birthday.
and there are financial considerations for me, but I really appreciate your answer, and I'm really hearing it at a deeper level because, I'm a graduate of a very powerful spiritual psychology program taught by Ron and Mary Holnick at the University of Santa Monica.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how deep this work can be. And the more I do it and the more I work with my own clients, I really do see the connection to the neural pathways, to the neurological impairment that was so deeply rehearsed
Absolutely.
in my past, particularly because, this is only, 2+ years of real recovery from the physical eating disorder. but I appreciate what you're saying about the opportunity to really make it sustainable on a very deep level.
Well, it was a great question. And, the other piece of it is that, especially now, it sounds like you're building a coaching business, at least related to this in some way. And the amazing thing is, and this happens to people who work in the field all the time, telling yourself that you're taking care of other people and you need to stay bright and abstinent and all these things because of the responsibility that you have is not enough without that mastery of the nervous system and some of the underlying dynamics that actually give you
Yes,
the relief so that you no longer need to either white knuckle it or seek relief through food.
yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dr. Joy. You've been partnered with me, even though this is the first time we've actually connected in real time. So
I'm so happy to meet you face to face, and you always send just the kindest and most supportive messages. And I do so appreciate that. And I save every one of them from all of you. I really save these because it's a tough field in a lot of ways, and there are a lot of really hard days, and those kinds of messages definitely keep me going. And I'm just so grateful.
I'm
Thank
so glad. Light
thank
ahead.
you. Any questions? Just raise your hand if you can in the reactions button if you want to ask anything about the group. While hands are going up, I could tell you a little bit about the structure of the group, how it works, like on a weekly basis, if that would be helpful. So usually we start out and we do some breath work, really gentle and loving breath work, but we kind of come in so that we're starting in that relaxed space where our nervous systems can settle, especially early on in group. If you're new to the group, you might have some nerves and feel uncomfortable and even have difficulty thinking of what you want coaching on because we get worked up over these things, and they're sensitive topics and there's a lot of vulnerability there. So we start out with that work, and then I usually teach about, once every 4 to 6 weeks, we start with a new meditation. And these meditations are specifically designed to, I have a Kundalini yoga meditation teacher training. So certification, which I got in 2014. So I've been teaching these meditations to my clients for all these years. And it started out from my own pursuit of healing from various health conditions and curiosity. And it became something that I've been able to transmit to all of you. And what's amazing about this tradition of meditation is that the meditations are actually specifically designed to target certain areas of the brain, of the hormonal and glandular system, of the nervous system. And so I cherry pick meditations that I am very confident will be beneficial to you as you move into your food recovery. And there's a miracle meditation that I do teach every group, and it's called a meditation for healing addictions. And I believe that that's just foundational. And then we grow from there. And it ends up, even if you think you don't love meditation, I promise you this is a different kind of meditation than you've ever done before. It's very active and it's very results oriented. I really believe in us using the time that we have as efficiently as possible. All of us live such busy lives, and there's so many things going on, and we have so many competing goals at the same time. And this is a form of meditation that you can get a benefit from, even in 3 to 5 to 7 minutes, depending on the meditation, as long as it's practiced consistently. So that's a really exciting part of it. I introduce you to emotional freedom technique, which is also known as tapping. And this is another method that we use to process things and beliefs and fears and situations where we feel we're stuck in some way. We feel we're trapped in our bodies, or we're trapped in a belief system that we can't necessarily think our way out of. EFT, what it does is it focuses on tapping into different meridians, energy meridians of the body, kind of like acupuncture would do, but it's non-invasive and you can do it on yourself. And so we tapped through last week, we did a tapping on relationships. We did a bathroom stall tapping, what to do when people are pressuring you to eat not my food and not my drink. How do you get out of that situation? We've tapped on body image. We've tapped on trauma. We've tapped on overwhelm. We've tapped on anxiety. I mean, the sky is literally the limit. And people who've never heard of tapping or necessarily maybe didn't even have an interest in it, after they spend time doing it, become addicted to that because it does bring a lot of relief. We've tapped on cravings. We should probably do another one of those again soon. I think that's a really good one, is to tap on cravings. We can never do too much of that. And then we dive into our coaching. So I ask you to bring questions to the table, and we just dive in. And I'm a really firm believer. I definitely always specify if the advice I'm giving is truly only specific to this person and their situation. But I truly do believe that when one person is being coached, everyone in the group is being coached. And it really is true, because sometimes, I call it the warm seat, not the hot seat. But when you're in the warm seat and you're being coached, sometimes it truly is difficult to articulate fully or even absorb everything that you're hearing. But when you're a listener, you really get all of it. And I'm sure you all have experienced that at one point or another on coaching calls. So, yeah, that's the basic structure. And if you sign up for the enhanced support, what that means is, so as a group, we have a Slack community. I did not want a Facebook group. I find that Facebook just can be very distracting and overwhelming, and there are so many groups, and Slack is a really easy to use app. Don't worry if you've never used it before. I'll make a tutorial for you, or we'll do it in group. It just takes 5 minutes to get oriented, but that's where we communicate as a group like we would in a Facebook group, but we do it on Slack. And if you have enhanced support, there's a DM feature there where you DM me any questions, concerns, support that you need, food help, crisis intervention, whatever it may be. That all happens there. So I literally, receive notifications, unless there have been a couple of rare instances when the notifications don't come through. But for the most part, I get notifications and I get back to you as soon as humanly possible. So I'm literally available to you all day, every day, 7 days a week. I don't take a day off. I haven't had a day off, I think, from this particular function in years now. But I'm not complaining. Like, it literally gives me so much joy to be of service and to help to, I suffered just like most of you. And I'm really thrilled to have found solution. And it's really my mission in life to help anyone who's suffering with these issues to get out of that suffering and to get to live the full, happy, beautiful, healthy life that each of us is entitled to. So that's some of the logistics and basic structure of how things work. Now, if you sign up for the Plus program or Premium, you can have 1 or 2 individual sessions per month, which can be really helpful in doing a deep dive into some of these issues and getting even more tailoring of meditations and tapping and things specifically tailored to you and your situation, and also having that greater level of accountability and support, which I think can be really helpful. So sorry, Karen, for keeping your hand up for so long, but it's your turn. Oh, you're muted, Karen. Are you able to unmute? Thank you so much.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you.
I'm registered for the class and I'm very excited for it to begin. And I looked at the book list and I wondered if you could tell me, I'm reading Brain Over Binge right now.
Okay.
What are the top 3 that I could consider?
Okay, so in a nutshell, could you give me just a brief overview of kind of maybe your greatest challenges right now, and that will help me direct you.
Okay, so I started BLE during the holidays in 2018, went on a cruise in January, and that was the end of it. And then I've been dabbling ever since.
Okay.
And I can get a length of time, like 5 weeks or whatever, and then I blow it.
Okay. So I think Brain Over Binge and the Brain Over Binge Recovery Guide are
Hmm,
definitely the place to start for right now. And
okay.
I would just I think that's plenty for the next few weeks till we get started. I think we start like today is October 7th or 6th. We start a month, we start November 7th. So I think that's a good place to start. And then um, on YouTube, I don't know if you're familiar with the work of Louise Hay, but there's a lot of like free meditations and affirmation videos that would be awesome to just start subtly and gently reprogramming your brain. And I think on the book list is You Can Heal Your Life. So if you haven't read that book, I think that could be a really fun read to have as you enter the group, but there's no rush on that. If you feel any resistance come up as you're reading that, know that that's normal too, because most of us on some level are used to living in fear. And so Louise's message is a totally different message. And so it can be kind of startling, and our ego can kind of create some resistance around hearing messages that like maybe we're actually okay, and maybe we actually do deserve to love ourselves, and maybe everything's going to work out in our highest good. It's hard to hear that. As much as that's reassuring, it can be hard if we've had different experiences and different stories in our lives up to now. So if you're feeling a lot of resistance, then take it slow and reach out to me so we can chat about it. Okay.
Thank you.
Beautiful. I can't wait for group to start, Karen, and for you to
Me
be a
too.
part of that. That's so awesome. Okay. Again, this is your opportunity to ask questions about group. No question is too big or too small, so feel free to ask, or anyone who's been in group, if there's anything they want to share about their experience or anything. This is really just a time for us to chat and connect as a community as well. Yes, Kathy, please. You're muted though, Kathy.
Yeah, I'm driving, so I don't have my
No
video on.
problem. No problem.
I just had a simple logistics question. How many weeks is the group? What time is it? And what happens if we miss
Yeah.
a group? Or do the times vary? So those of us who work, how does that work?
Okay, so the group is scheduled for Mondays at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So I'm guessing, I think in your time zone, it might be around 6 p.m. And all the sessions are recorded. So if you miss, it's not a big deal. In fact, I'm in a group myself that is at the same time as the group that I lead, and I do that group exclusively on recordings. And I really do make sure to give you everything that you need. So unless there's a holiday or some sort of special circumstance, that pretty much that's when we meet. I do add occasionally, especially like when when we're brand new and we have a lot of momentum and we need to get a lot of work done. In this past group, I think there will be the group starts on November 7th, it ends April 17th, so it's basically 6 months. And I don't expect that everyone is going to make every group, and that's fine, because we have the recordings and we have the Slack group, and you'll have everything you need even if you can't attend live. I really do make it so it's very user friendly like that. And in each session, I also had a lot of different additional bonus sessions and meditations, EFT sessions, and additional coaching on different days that were in addition to the regular schedule, just to kind of make sure everyone was getting as much coaching as they need. So I base that kind of on the needs of the group. And I'm trying right now, just give me one moment. I'd like to log into the portal so you can kind of see, this is a brand new portal that is premiering with this group to a whole new system, and it's on a platform called Teachable. And I want you to get to see like what it looks like with the recordings. So I'm going to do a share screen here in 1 second, just so you can get a feel for what it looks like. Let's see. Okay, just give me one moment while I get all the technology going. Okay, so this is the portal from our current group. And you'll see at the top, there's a welcome area, which explains like the book list is here. And the November group already has this in place. In fact, in the November group, there's also a welcome letter and a welcome video from me. And then each week and each session, there is a video, and all you need to do is you just click on, let's see if it will let me open it when I'm in the screen share. Let me just go this way. Hold on 1 second. Let's see if I can open it. Let's do preview. That will allow me to open it here while I'm sharing. So this is what the portal looks like, and you just hit start. Let's go to and you see all the different sessions that we've had, and you click start, and the video will come up, and we just start, and here we go. And you'll just see the coaching session will be right here. So this is what the portal looks like. And then to go back to the main list, you just go back, and every week the video for the week is uploaded. And if there are any additional bonus materials, they're going to be in this section and resources. For example, like I'm a huge fan of this infrared sauna blanket, which has helped me recover from poisoning from black mold. And it's an incredible thing for your nervous system. So I share a resource for that here. And all kinds of things. The portal is like your central information hub. Does that answer some of those questions, Kathy?
Yes, thank you so much. Do we have access to the portal after the group ends, after the 6 months? Or does that access go away then?
So there are
our recordings and such.
So if you continue on in group, then you have continued access to the portal. And if not, then, I'm working on developing an options where you can keep a subscription to the portal for your recordings. So yes, but it won't be free. There will be a charge for that because it does cost a lot to host all these videos, etc. And the other thing to add is that if you need to attend on a recorded, like you can't make it some week because you're on call or whatever's happening, you can also submit if you have a question that you need answered that week, you can submit it and I will definitely answer it. So, and again, if you have the enhanced support, then, I'm available to you every day, whether you're, live at group or not. And I promise you that no other psychologist that works in food addiction and eating disorders offers this kind of access and support. And I'm really proud of this. It's not easy on me. It's not easy on my family, but it's necessary. Our addiction doesn't live on Mondays from 4 to 6, or, when we have a individual session. Like the nature of addiction is that we need to be in the daily pursuit of recovery and connected to recovery. And, my goal is to give you the support when you need it, not when it's convenient for me. And I'm very, very client oriented in that way. So, that's my promise to you, and that is not going to change. So I hope that is helpful.
Yeah, that's incredible. It's like you're a concierge physician service.
That's one way
how those work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's how those work. So
there you go.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dry.
You're so welcome, Kathy. I'm so happy you're here. Okay. Other questions? Let's see, Martha. Yes.
Hi, I wasn't anticipating on saying this, but I just did want to, I was coming to listen to learn more. I just was in Dr. Joy's past 6-month group. I took a hiatus. I had done the shorter group, and I've decided to continue. And if you're here because you're curious, I would really encourage you to not wait. I was hesitant. The financial piece, I just have to say, was something that I was like, wow. And then I kept saying I had never really done, and I've had a history. I'm 64. I've had a history of bulimia for about 30 years on and off, and had a pretty serious concussion that woke me up from stopping the purging. But then I got involved with I always was an overeater, but just compensated over exercising. And so really came to my understanding that I had never just spent the time and effort to just focus on my eating disorder, whatever form it took. And I just want to say Dr. Joy and the group format has delivered beyond what I could think it would deliver, being very self-reliant. And I think that's what took me so long to come to a group, was like, I can do this, I can figure this out, it's me. There's got to be something wrong with me. There's got to be something that I can do, one thing to change or fix, and then I'll just leap over everything and it will be in my past. But the kindness and the support of the group, the connection, feeling one of a part of other people helped reduce my shame around this so much. And it's just really helped me move a lot forward with abstinence. And I couldn't be happier. And I just want to support it and again say exactly what Dr. Joy said. It's just more than the abstinence. I mean, I am feeling so supported with digging down deep to get that stability with what Cynthia talked about at the beginning, to just really feel that sense of kind of integration and cohesiveness. So it's been a life-changing, game changer. I don't know what else to say. And I really didn't come on to say that, just so you know. I understand the consideration, but boy, it's really something that, not a gift to yourself, it's really a gift for your life and the quality of life that you want to have. At least that's how I should say it for me. It's been a gift for the quality of life that I never thought was possible.
Wow, Martha, thank you so much for that. I truly am grateful to hear that from you. And that is my greatest wish for every single person who takes part in this group. And it is a collaboration more than anything, right? It's not just about what I do, because I show up the same for every single person, but you've got to show up too. And I know sometimes it's harder than others to show up for yourself. And, we just take things at the pace that they need to happen. And I think, a real point of pride that I have for the group is that I create a safe space, hopefully for all of you to get as vulnerable as you need to get the maximum healing that you can get out of this experience. And I talk a lot about the stages of change, and I think that's really important to discuss just very briefly here, because I think it's really helpful in setting expectations. Because sometimes people can get really frustrated and be like, nothing's happening, nothing's changing, I'm still not completely bright, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that, or I'm not doing this, and I'm not doing that. I want you to understand that there is so much change that is happening beneath the surface before we even realize it. And we can't always see it. And there can be, in fact, one of our current group members spent, about 5 months really struggling to get bright. And then finally, a couple of weeks ago, everything clicked for her, and she's on the path now. If she had given up before then, we have to hang around for the miracle to happen. As we say so often in recovery, we really must hang out for that miracle and continue. And so what the stages of change is it's a behavioral model in psychology about habit change. And just in a nutshell, we start out in pre-contemplation. Pre-contemplation is the stage where we don't even know that we need to make a change in our life. We just are living our life. We're doing our thing. So it might be us as kids, going into the cookie jar. I hope you don't mind my saying the word, eating kind of freely and maybe eating a lot, but like just kind of enjoying it and not thinking much of it. Contemplation is the next stage where we start to get inklings that some behavior that we have, and again, this model applies not just to food and eating, it applies to drug and alcohol use, it applies to smoking cessation, it applies to almost any change that you could want to make in your life. So after pre-contemplation is the contemplation stage, and that is when we start to get inklings that this behavior that we have, this habit that we have, maybe it's not working for us. And we start to think about like, oh, maybe instead of the, eating those snacks after school, like maybe I should have some fruit, or like my stomach doesn't feel so good after I eat this particular food, or after I eat kind of freely in uncontrolled portions, like something's not right here. Like I need to think about making a change. The next stage is preparation. And that means like we're really clear that we want to change this behavior. Let's say we want to change our eating. So we start preparing for the change to happen. Maybe we start buying books to educate ourselves on nutrition. Maybe we sign up for Brightline Eating and start like watching the boot camps, for example, but we're not actually making a change quite yet. We're like listening and learning and getting ready. Then action is the next stage. That's where we go in and we're like in it. We start following our bright lines, or we actually stop smoking or drinking. We're in the behavior. We're in the action of change. Okay, after we're in action, then ultimately, hopefully, if we stay in that action stage, then we move into maintenance. And you've heard a lot about maintenance. And maintenance is that act of maintaining and sustaining the change that we have made. So as you can see, and as I described that timeline, so much is happening till you get to the point that you're in action. And what happens is being in a group or being accountable and being in a process with a cohort of people, I believe it really increases the momentum up behind that process. And then it provides the support and the tools to actually be successful when you get into action, and to stay in action rather than falling back into relapse and ultimately get to the maintenance stage. But I just want to remind all of you that no matter what you're going through right now, if you're here, you're showing up for this, you're in action in your own way. And even if all of the changes that you're attempting to make have not fully been realized yet, I feel like they're inevitable as long as you keep showing up, right? The biggest barrier to our recovery is when we stop showing up. And I've said it before, I'm going to say it again right now. We must fight for ourselves. We must fight for our lives, even when we feel like we just don't have the energy or the will, because if we don't, who will? And my commitment to you is to really hold your hand and to guide you through that process. And we do it as a community. So if you can imagine all of us who are here right now, linking hands virtually and supporting each other in that change, that's really how I see the group. Okay. Other questions? Or topics? And then we'll wrap up. I don't want to take too much of your time, but I just really did want you to get an opportunity to get a feeling for what we do. And I feel that, I do believe in the process and the idea of continuous improvement. So every group, I try to just up level it more. And I think that promise has been fulfilled. Every moment is not always comfortable, but I hope that it keeps you on the trajectory of growth and of change and have connection. And I love, Martha, how you said like you weren't necessarily a group person, right? You didn't necessarily, you wanted to do things on your own, and you really settling into that connection and support has been the game changer. And you're now binge free for probably almost 6 weeks now, right? And that's just major. It's so major. Okay, yes, Kathy.
Sorry, just a couple more questions. What is the maximum number of people that you're capping the group, and approximately how much individual coaching time would each person have during the group session?
Yeah.
And do you offer a receipt that we can turn into our health savings account?
Okay. So I'll answer the the last question first, because Martha had the same question. If you can find out if health coaching is covered, then I can provide you an invoice. Martha's plan covers psychoeducational groups, which is also, our group would qualify as psychoeducational, so I can do that. So please, you need to find out from your flexible spending account what kind of services they cover. And if there's something that fits what we're doing, I'm happy to work with you on that, right? So it's been covered in the past, but each plan and each employer is slightly different. So as far as coaching time, how I ran it, every group's been a little bit different, and it does depend on the size of the group. And the size of the group, when it started out, we had 5 people, and it was 5 people for a long time. We've had 12 people, we've had 16 people. In the current group, we have 27 people. It varies. So I don't know. I mean, it's not going to be a 100-person group, and it's not going to be a 50-person group. It will probably be 30 maximum, and it might be 20. But how I do that is I create a coaching schedule. So if you have any kind of scheduling days that you're definitely not going to be there, or you want to be coached, you just let me know and I put you on the schedule. And then at every single session, I create time for what I call burning desires, which means if you are not on the coaching schedule for that day, but you need to be coached, you will be coached. So you could technically be coached every single session if you wanted to. Now, most people end up not having, like, after you get the coaching, there's typically a period of time where you're integrating what you've been advised to do and kind of getting ready to be ready, or experimenting with the new meal plan or some other thing that you're in the process of working on. So it ends up working out really well. And again, if you have an issue, you will be coached. There's always time for burning desires. And if I have to stay on for 3 hours to get everyone taken care of, I will. We've never had to do that. But, you know, I just want everyone to trust that their needs will be met. If they're not being met, then I need to know about it so that they can be met. Because again, like I said, I'm extremely client oriented, and I want you to get everything out of this experience that you can. And if you're doing your part and showing up on your side, I'm certainly going to match you and hopefully, you know, give you beyond what your expectations are. Okay, Kathy, does that help?
Yes, great. Thank you. Thank you very much for that.
You're so welcome. Erin, hi. Another current group member and RIP member. So yay. I love that you guys came today.
Thank you. I'm doing the year-round Dr. Joy group.
I love it.
Journey. I was curious about the third Monday that we don't have calls. What are you envisioning for this next 6 weeks? Any changes or pods?
Well, I'm still envisioning, so what I've done when we had a larger group this time, I divided the larger group into what I call pods, which are groups of smaller groups that will meet on the third Monday of every month. Hopefully you'll meet together and either check in and do mastermind. Some groups wanted to do a book club. Every pod has been kind of, and you're not required to be in a pod if you don't want to, but I think that, you know, when the group is larger, it creates even a smaller, more personal space for you guys to connect peer to peer and give each other the kind of support and accountability you need. So the plan is to keep that the same. And, as you know, especially kind of at the beginning of group where we need to coach a lot of people right away, there might be some Mondays where we do have group when it wasn't scheduled, but I'll give you definitely advance notice for that. And if you have other ideas of how you'd like to spend that third Monday, please. I mean, this is again a collaborative process. Robin is sharing in the chat here that the pod has been helpful in building deep connection. So it creates a smaller, even safer space within the group. And I try my best to group you in ways that will work for you, whether it's by geography or, kind of clinical presentation or personality, where I think that people will gel together. I don't always get it perfect, but I do my best. And if you're not happy in your pod, you can always request and I'll put you in a new one. Or, some pods have other people come in and out if they're going to meet because people just want to connect. And sometimes it's not on a Monday, it's like a Thursday or a Wednesday because they want more support. So I think that that's been a great addition. And I think it's definitely what you make of it. But if Erin, if you have other ideas, please send me a Slack message because I love, and Erin's been such an incredible, I mean, everyone in the group I could give my accolades on, but just such a positive light and really showing up for everyone in the most generous and loving way, which I'm truly grateful for.
Thank you so much.
Okay, other questions? I just encourage you to sign up. I'm offering a bonus. And if you've already signed up, I will send it to you. Never fear, Karen. I'm going to send you this bonus EFT video. If you haven't done EFT before, you might not know exactly what to do, but you just follow what I'm doing on the video. So if you sign up by 8 p.m. tonight, anyone who signs up by 8 p.m. tonight is going to get a special bonus EFT video as a thank you. Because the registration is going to close soon. It's filling up, but I also wanted to create this opportunity again. I know that I honor, what kind of both a financial commitment this is and a personal commitment of both your time and your trust. And I take it more seriously than you could imagine. It really, my integrity and my kind of dedication to all of you, each and every one of you as an individual and as a collective, is the heart and soul of who I am. And there's nothing that I care more about in my professional career than that you feel safe, that you feel supported, that you feel that you've gotten what you need. And so crucial to that is our communication and our connection. So I just want you to feel that there is always an open line of communication. And sometimes, our current group members know that this is true. Sometimes I will need to be very direct with you, but I will always say it with love. And part of my job is to call out patterns as I see them so that we can make shifts that will bring you the relief and hopefully just the happiness and the health and the loving of your life that each of us, again, deserves. Okay, so I think that's it. Any other questions before we sign off? I'm so grateful to everyone who showed up today. Again, if you have any follow-up questions, please let me know. I will be sending out a link to this Q&A session if you need to revisit anything, or there's some people that couldn't be here live that wanted to, hear the questions and the answers. So I hope that is supportive. And sign up, please. I hope to see you in November. And I'm just sending so much love to all of you. If you want to say hi and chat or sign off, whatever you want, we're good. Awesome, everyone. Thank you so much. Take care. Thank you for being here. Much love. And yes, Robin, current members get the bonus video. Yes. Bye, everyone. Much love.